feel today? Ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like.
Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's hunt now! Let's hunt now! Let's go! Let's hunt! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yap. The bottom line is you got to buckle up your chin strap. It's embarrassing. Yap. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be hit just like us. He's a man. You ought to make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like.
Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! We ready! And let's go to the house! And let's go to the house! It's a wrap. Game over.
Nah, this game ain't over. It's just getting started right here on the lunch break, powered by JM&E and broadcasting live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. And I mean it. If you got a Roku streaming device, do yourself a favor and download BS3 TV. Download B as in boy, S as in Sam, the number 3 TV, and you will thank me. Man, what a fire show Queen 3 and King was last night, man. You got to just click on each and every one of the shows. Check out some of the rebroadcasts of the shows, and you will know what I'm talking about when I tell you there is quality programming on BS3 TV. All right, listen, I'm not with you for the full hour today. I got to get ready to go to a meeting a little bit later on. I got to travel to it, so I'm going to give you 30 good minutes of what I have and might even get interrupted while we're on the air. So let me just get it in while we can. It's Winning Wednesday, and man, the Houston Astros was about the winning last night. I was in the stadium covering the game for SGA TV. SGA TV Sports was in the house. You'll be hearing more about that real quick, or soon, I should say. You'll be hearing more about that soon. But, man, I got to tell you, Justin Verlander was cooking last night. 12 strikeouts in the win. Became the first 7-game winner in the major leagues. And this dude is coming off of reconstruction surgery in his throwing arm. So, man, you just can't say enough about Justin Verlander and how he has made himself over to be as solid as he is. So big win last night for the Astros. And then big night for Yordan Alvarez, who just signed that big contract that made him the highest paid designated hitter in baseball history. He jacked one out last night and ended up driving in 2 runs on that at-bat. I'm trying to check his stats to see how many RBIs he had last night. I know I should have been writing that down. Don't at me. Just leave me alone. Yordan Alvarez did drive in 2 last night, was 1 for 3 on the night, but that big 2-run homer was his 17th of the season, 36 RBIs. And what's Yordan hitting now? Yordan's hitting 289. He's got one of the highest averages on the team, if not the highest average. Yeah, he's 289. Jose Altuve batting 280. And then right behind them is the young guy over at shortstop, Jeremy Pena, who has been everything that he was advertised to be. So great job by the Astros getting back in the win column. No drama last night, no clearing the bench brawls or anything like that last night. In fact, the pitcher that was involved in that the night before has been suspended 4 games by Major League Baseball, and he is appealing his suspension. Dusty Baker was also suspended for 1 game as a result of that, and Dusty, I think, sat that out last night. So, again, the Astros got the big win. They'll be trying to wrap up the series with Seattle, this home stand with Seattle tonight. That's right. 5:40 Central. The Astros will host the Mariners for Game 3 of their 3-game set. Again, that series is split at 1 each right now, but the Astros could win the series. And then after that, they welcome the Florida Marlins to town Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before they hit the road to go to the Rangers. So again, big win by the Astros. Big win by the Astros last night. And again, it was good to be in the ballpark. Good to be in some very good seats. Got a shout out to James Odom. James Odom, that's my rep, making sure that we were in the stadium last night and that we were able to cover the game for SGA TV for the lunch break and BS3 TV. So good stuff right there. All right, tonight is the night. Tonight is Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Game 3 of the NBA Finals, and that series is split at 1 each. The Boston Celtics won Game 1. Golden State bounced back and won Game 2. But tonight is a pivotal game. Tonight is a pivotal game because if you look back over the history of the 7-game series of the NBA, teams that win Game 1, Game 3, and throw in Game 5 win close to 92% of the NBA final championships. Teams that win Game 1, Game 3, and if you throw in Game 5, they literally win 92% of the NBA final championships. So, man, when I tell you that should be motivation for both of these teams to win tonight's game, but definitely motivation for the Boston Celtics to get this one locked up, tonight, and then to look for that Game 5. Hey, I'm one of them cats, man. Try to win all of them. Try to win. Don't. I don't want to use the word forfeit, but don't decide, oh yeah, we'll let them have this one and then we'll come back and we'll win the next one, or we'll win. Now, man, you got to lock them up while you got them, especially when you're playing a team like the Golden State Warriors. So tonight is going to be a great game. It's going to tip off at 8:00 Central. And I'm leaning towards Boston tonight. I am leaning towards Boston tonight. One thing about the Boston Celtics, they have been able to respond no matter how bad they get knocked down. I mean, they got blown out in a couple of those games against the Miami Heat where they just looked like they didn't have a clue on what they were going to do. But then they bounced back and were able to get back on track. So we'll see. We'll see what Boston can do tonight. We'll see what Golden State can do tonight. Again, Steve Kerr is also a very underrated coach when it comes to adjustments, in-game adjustments. All right, we take a break. I'll come back with more right after this on the lunch break right here on Powered by Jones Media and Entertainment and broadcasting live on Roku TV courtesy of BS3. Be right back.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
All right, we want to welcome everybody tuning in now through YouTube. I know we got started a little bit earlier on the other platforms, on Facebook, on Twitch, and on Roku. But again, for all those tuned in now from YouTube, welcome to the show. As I said in the first segment, talked a little bit about the Astros and their big win last night. Justin Verlander was dealing last night, 12 strikeouts in the win, and Yordan Alvarez was showing everybody why he became the highest paid DH in Major League Baseball history when he jacked his 17th home run, a 2-run shot late in that game to put it out of reach for Seattle. And again, the Astros walked away with a 4-1 win. Also talked about tonight's game with the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. Just looking right now, Boston is a 3.5-point favorite at home tonight. And as I said in that first segment, teams that win game 1, game 3, and game 5 win over 92% of the NBA championships. You win game 1, you win game 3, and you win game 5, you are typically a lock to win the NBA title. And again, I know folks are all about Golden State. I'm not saying that they are not going to win it. I'm not saying that they can't win it. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, they got every chance in the world to go in there and take game 3 tonight and take a 2-1 lead, which would put them back with home court advantage. But if Boston gets that win tonight, they have home court advantage, and they've got what? Think about it. They got 4 chances to win 2 games. That's why that these percentages kind of come into play. They've got more chances to win 2 games as opposed to Golden State, who has to win 3 out of 4 in order to win that title. And when you're playing a team like Boston that's able to make adjustments, that's able to score in multiple different ways with multiple different players, it does make it a little bit difficult. So again, tonight's game is going to be very, very crucial. Which team will come out on top tonight? If Golden State wins that game, they get it back on serve. If Boston wins that game and they take home court advantage and they now have 4 chances to win 2 games, man, it's a good shot that they're going to get it done. So we'll see. That again tonight will tip off at 8 o'clock Central, live on ABC. Boston's going to host Golden State tonight. Now, I know many of you all reached out to me after yesterday's show and my comments about Draymond Green and his behavior. I'm not saying that Draymond has to change his game. I'm not saying Draymond's got to tone it down. I wasn't watering down anything. I mean, again, some of y'all came real strong at me. All I'm saying is that Draymond could have easily fouled out of that game. He could have easily fouled out of Sunday's game or been ejected from Sunday's game because of 2 flagrant fouls. If they had given him that second flagrant foul when things kind of got going between him and Jaylen Brown. And all I'm saying is he was at home and he got some home court cooking. He got some home court favoritism. He got some stuff at home that he might not get on the road. And all I'm saying is that changes the complexion of the game when one of your key players ends up not being available, not because of injury, not because of anything else, but because they couldn't control themselves in how they conduct themselves. Fouling is one thing. Flagrant fouls? Nah, come on now. Come on. Y'all are smarter than that. One thing I pride myself on this show is having some of the smartest viewers and fans that they are out there. So you can't tell me that Draymond Green can't control himself when it comes to flagrant fouls. Sure, he's aggressive. Sure, he's physical. Sure, he's the toughness from, for the Golden State Warriors. I get that. But he also has to control himself to the standpoint that he doesn't get assessed 2 flagrant fouls in the same game, which would make him no longer available for that game and then open to review on whether or not he could be suspended for additional games. Come on, man. I think that reasonable, smart, basketball people, sports fans even, will understand the difference between me saying that and saying he's got to water down his game or he's got to not be as aggressive. I'm talking about flagrant fouls. I'm not talking about, common fouls. Not talking about that. So we'll see. We'll see how things go tonight. But I'm just saying, you ain't at home tonight. You might not get those calls that you get. And the other thing I said is the referees, period, regardless of where you are, they cannot not call a flagrant foul because a guy already has a flagrant foul. They can't do that. If he commits another flagrant foul, it is their job to call it. So that's all I said. Don't read into nothing that I said, and definitely don't put words into my mouth, because I handle my words very well. I know how to say what I'm saying. When people say so in other words, no, in the words I just used. In the words I just used. So we'll see. The other thing that a lot of folks had some questions about was what I was talking about as far as the NFL. I kind of put out my Final Four for the AFC, my Final Four for the NFC. And yeah, I said what I said. I said what I said. I meant what I said. AFC, Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, Tennessee, in no particular order. I can give them to you in my order. I can give them to you in my order. I got Kansas City number 1. I got Buffalo number 2. I've got Tennessee number 3. I got Baltimore number 4. NFC. Number 1, the LA Rams. Number 2, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 3, the San Francisco 49ers. Number 4, the Dallas Cowboys. And I don't care if you don't like Dallas. I don't care if you don't like Dak. I don't care if you weren't impressed with them last season. They won 12 games last season. I got them right there again this season. I got them right there again this season. Todd, yeah, I'll take your call. If you want to call in, hit me up, 832-403-5005. 832-403-5005. Todd, I'll get you in. Yeah, but no, I'm not backing off of what I said because people don't like who I picked. Look, back up your own picks. These are my picks, not our picks. So, and yeah, there are other teams out there that are question marks. There are other teams that are out there that are question marks. Okay, y'all stay right there. This is a call that I was waiting on. So let me get a commercial. I'll be right back right after this.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
All right, we're back on the lunch break, powered by JM&E and broadcasting live on Roku TV, courtesy of BS3 TV. Download BS3 TV from your Roku streaming device. You'll thank me later. All right, Todd on the phone line right now. What's going on, brother?
How's it going, man? Long time no talk.
I know, man. You've been in that witness protection program. You know how I call it. You doing all right?
Doing good, man. No complaints on this end.
I hear you. Well, I know that you are not a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. You don't think they should be in my top 4 in the NFC. Talk to me.
So I guess it depends on, like you mentioned the other day, you had a guy text message you about that they weren't impressed, I guess, with the Cowboys' lack of offseason moves, right?
Right.
So, Amari Cooper's gone. The other receiver's gone, number 1. I can't remember his name. His last name Wilson?
Yeah,
right?
yep.
Jarwin's gone. tight end, right?
Right.
And when I look at that, I'm not talking about the regular season. So let me phrase it a little bit better. When you look at the moves, or really lack thereof, right? The lack of moves, did they better themselves for the postseason, not the regular season?
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
So that's my question. Do you feel better about their roster now to go win 2 playoff games?
Yeah, and that's because you did kind of throw that out there deep in the playoffs. I can't say that they'll go deep in the playoffs. I think that they'll win their first round matchup because even as the number 4 seed in the of the division winners, they got a wild card team, so they'll win their first round matchup. What they do after that, I'll give you that's a question mark, but I don't have anybody else that's going to beat them in the in the NFC East. The only team I've got challenging them in the NFC East is Philadelphia, and I don't know if they're built, to lock up that division. So that's why I've got them in my top 4 of teams to beat in that division. I mean, in that conference.
And I don't necessarily disagree with the Amari Cooper move. I think you had to eventually move CeeDee Lamb or see if he is that number 1 receiver. You know what I mean? Then now you're kind of changing people's roles, right? I think CeeDee Lamb, I think he might be able to handle that. I'm not 100% sure yet. Then you're trying to make Michael Gallup a number 2, right?
Yep.
Is he really a number 2? Is he really a number 3? That'll be something that'll be really interesting to figure out. If Michael Gallup is, because it's different. Let me give you an example with Juju Smith-Schuster, right? That's now the Chiefs, right?
Yep.
It was real easy to shine when you had Antonio Brown.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
You take Antonio Brown away, it's like, oh, now I'm getting the double.
It was a whole different deal for him. You're absolutely right.
Whole different deal. And that's no shade on Juju. I mean, that's really a compliment to Antonio Brown of how good he was. He just drew so much attention that other guys got to eat while they were focusing on him.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
So that's the question I really have is when I look at the Cowboys, I don't have any doubt they'll win the East. There's no doubt about it. They got the best quarterback in that division. They should run away with it like they've been doing. You know what I mean? I just go back to the, once you get to the playoffs, did they make the moves where they get up against the San Francisco again? You know what I mean?
Right. And that's why I don't have Green Bay in my top 4. Green Bay has won back-to-back 13 games, right?
Yep.
What have they done in the playoffs? With all that greatness, what have they done in the playoffs? So when I look at a team like Dallas, when I look at a team like San Francisco, when I look at a team like Tampa Bay, when I look at a team like the Rams, I'm looking at teams that have the ability to take it beyond just winning the division and have a chance to make a run in the playoffs. Am I saying that Green Bay doesn't have that chance? I'm not saying that. I'm saying I've got more recent history and experience that says they can't. That teams get up for Green Bay in the playoffs, and teams get Green Bay out of character in the playoffs. Teams put Green Bay in situations, like you said very well, in situations in the playoffs that they don't necessarily have to deal with in the regular season.
Yeah, so like when you move to the AFC, I think someone brought this up, a commentator last year. I think it's really hard in the AFC when you got Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yep.
All the guys are 4 young quarterbacks, right?
Right.
It's going to be really hard for any of those teams to rip off, like a dynasty type run, because I could see a scenario each one of those teams could pick off each other in any given year.
Yeah. And that's why I really have the AFC. The AFC was harder for me to pick than the NFC, because again, you look at Patrick Mahomes, you look at Josh Allen, you look at the Tennessee. I got them in there more because of the division than anything else. But then you got a whole lot of questions in that AFC West, man. You got a whole lot of players that can take a huge leap in that AFC West. None, notwithstanding Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, even Derek Carr. There's a whole lot of young, fresh quarterbacking going on in the AFC that makes it harder to pick. And notice I didn't even get to the AFC North.
Yeah, I think the Broncos. I don't know with them if they just have a hard time gauging, that Russell's going to be on a new team, but obviously they're going to be substantially better, than what they had, prior. But
And for me, I give them a chance to. I'm not saying that they're automatically because everybody told me all Washington needed was a quarterback to kind of manage things, and that defense was going to get them on the shot. Where the heck did they end up?
I mean, Washington's still looking for that quarterback, right?
Well, look, even when Fitzpatrick was healthy, it wasn't happening. Even when Heineke was playing well, it wasn't happening. That defense let them down, and that was supposedly what was going to keep them in the game.
I look at a guy like Heineke. I think that he's more of like a Chase Daniel to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Good, adequate backup.
Yep.
But he's not, and this is no knock on him. He's not leading you to the NFC East Championship.
No, I agree. And that's why I say Denver to me has a chance, but I'm not going to just give it to them because of their defense from years gone by and Russell Wilson. That defense has got to play well this season, and Russell Wilson still has to be able to do some of the things that he did for so long in Seattle.
Yeah, I agree with that. So your basketball take. This series is very interesting to me on the Celtics and the Warriors because on paper you would say experience-wise the Warriors should win because I think when the series started,
Agreed.
The Warriors had 123 games finals experience and the Celtics I think had none amongst their players. Right?
Agreed.
But I think tonight is pivotal. They always say that Game 3. I don't remember. I think on Game 2 they said something that whoever wins Game 3 wins like 82% of the finals or something close to that.
Yep, that's correct.
So I do think tonight is really important. Here's what's crazy about Boston. For some reason, they don't play that well at home, and I think they're 5-4 at home in the playoffs. So, but I can't figure it out. They had the Bucks down, they had the Heat down. And in both of those series, they had a game, it was 5 or 6 at home, and they lost both. You know what I mean? It basically gave the other team life. And I can't figure out why they keep doing that. So that's one thing that concerns me about them. Because on paper, their size should give the Warriors a bunch of trouble.
Yep. But that's one thing about Golden State. Those things like that, they have answers for, and I mean real answers, real-time answers. So they know how to, of all things, nullify size. They know how to, turn up the defense to stifle more than one scorer. So that's why I think we saw what we saw on Sunday in Game 2. But I got to be honest, man, I feel like we are underestimating the power or the ability of Ime Udoka to make in-game and post-game adjustments. I have not seen one dude get blown out the way that they have got blown out, but then bounce back so strong after that. It's almost like it never happened.
Well, then tonight would be the night, right?
Yep.
Obviously the Warriors had here's the thing about the Warriors. The Warriors.
Wait, Todd, hold that thought. I've got to jump off for one quick second, but stay right there. Don't go anywhere. All right, y'all, we'll be right back right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Wednesday, trying to get over that hump on June 8th, 2022. Number 1. Across Capitol Hill, memorials, discussions, and hearings are being held this week on the topics of violence, gun legislation, and domestic terrorism. The U.S. House is poised to act by voting on gun legislation this week, but negotiations among Senate Democrats and Republicans continue as the group is still trying to hammer out a gun reform agreement. Tuesday, the Senate Judiciary Committee began a hearing to investigate the threat of domestic terrorism in the wake of the Buffalo, New York massacre shootings. Number 2. Vice President Kamala Harris held a roundtable discussion in Los Angeles, California, with faith leaders to discuss some of the most urgent challenges facing our communities. It included protecting reproductive rights and addressing the epidemic of hate that is gripping our nation. Attendees also discussed the importance of protecting access to reproductive health care, preserving the right to self-determination for individuals and families, and working together to chart the path forward. Number 3, as the country reels from a spate of mass shootings that have sparked calls for gun reform, social media users are distorting data to falsely claim that COVID-19 vaccines kill people more often than rifles do. A recent claim states that rifles caused 454 deaths in the United States in 2020, while COVID-19 vaccines caused 20,622 deaths in the United States in 2021. According to the Associated Press, the claim that 20,000 people have died from COVID-19 vaccines misrepresents data maintained by the CDC and the FDA. Number 4, set at a strip club called The Pink in the fictional town of Chucalissa, Mississippi, P-Valley returned to stars for a second season this past week. It takes on the desires, struggles, and rich interior lives of those dancers as it's focused without any judgment. Katori Hall, the show's creator and showrunner, said P-Valley is a love letter to all women who are scrapping it out, but particularly for the black women that think a lot of people thumb their noses at them. When the series debuted in July of 2020, many viewers and critics found the drama at the Pink to be a welcome distraction from a summer marred by pandemics and images of racial injustice. Number 5, Chaya Campbell has been missing from Maryland since May 5th, 2020. The 11-year-old weighs 130 pounds, has black hair, and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt, a blue bandana, and black Air Force Ones with a white Nike logo. Anyone with information on Chaya's disappearance, please go to the blackandmissinginc.com website. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Inhale good character. Whew. Exhale ugliness. Is it just me that needed that? Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with the Bon Vivant, Stephen Hill, comedian Myra J., and activist Quinn Townsend Riley, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and the American Heart Association. To subscribe to my free daily newsletter, please visit SibylWilkes.com. Be informed, be empowered.
All right, we're back after that. Getting ready to wrap it up, but I want Todd to get a chance to give his question in that he wanted to ask before I had to jump off real quick. Todd, you were talking about the matchup tonight, and I wanted to get your final comments on that.
Yeah, no, it seems like the Warriors, I don't know if you've noticed this, they're probably the best third quarter team I've ever seen.
Yep.
In the playoffs, they always come out in that third quarter. So I think if Boston can withstand that,
yep,
in game 3 and 4, and like you said, the coach Udoka, if he can make whatever adjustments from game 2, but I really think if Boston wants to win this series, you got to win that game tonight. You cannot play around with them. There's just too much pedigree on that other side. Because I think what worries about the Celtics, if this drags on, I don't know, like going back to the Heat series and the Bucks, it just seems like they started to play real tight in those closeout games for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. If they want it, tonight is the night to get it. And 82% on after winning game 3, but when you win 1, 3, and 5, it's almost a lock. So it's close to 92%. For victory for the NBA championship. So we'll see what happens tonight, man.
Okay. Appreciate it, AJ. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one, Todd. Thanks for calling in, brother.
All right. Bye.
All right. Okay. Hey, listen, we're going to have to run. I got some things I have to take care of. Just want to jump on, though, and make sure we got our winning Wednesday in. When we come back tomorrow, I'll be telling you about what I was going to tell you about today, how you can get in on Winning Wednesday and win $50 per week during the NFL season, during the lunch break weekly, Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. It's a lot of fun. At the end of the season, 6 people will have a chance to compete for $600. So stay locked right here and you'll have your chance to win. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you, and there is nothing you can do about it. We'll talk to you tomorrow for Throwback Thursday.